In this video we discuss folklore, traditions and ways to celebrate Samhain, or Hallows Eve or Halloween. Stick around to the end for our power tips on how to use the energy around this time.
Hello, I'm Max Raven.
And I'm Cassandra Raven. Together we have over 30 years experience in the occult, witchcraft and magic.
We share insights, knowledge, advice and lifestyle tips to make your magic go further and add potency to your work.
Samhain or Samhain is also known as All Hallows Eve and, more popularly, Halloween. It falls on the evening of the 31st of October. Traditionally, this was celebrated as the last day of the light part of the year, meaning we bid farewell to the warmer months and longest days of sunlight. It's on this night that we welcome the darker part of the year as the winter months begin drawing in.
It was known as the Celtic New Year, and sometimes also referred to as Witches' New Year, because it was the time when the sun was at its lowest, measured by the standing stones. Samhain, of course, is a fire festival, the third and final harvest as well. It is thought that at this time, the old god dies. We celebrate and honour his passing, and our celebrations include empathy for the old crone, his female counterpart, who grieves her partner. Now, the image of the crone is an interesting one. It comes up a lot around this time of year. What's your view as a witch and as a lady on the stereotypical image of a crone?
Well, I think it's a bit of a shame in a way that is the vision of a witch that people automatically think of when you say witch. They think of the green skin, the hooked nose, the warts on the face, the scary image of the elderly lady. And when I say that I'm a witch, that's what people imagine me to be. Now, I do want to become that in time. Maybe not just yet, but in time, certainly that is my goal.
I've seen you in the mornings.
But I'm not sure that it's a fair image to kind of be represented by in popular culture. That's just...
Well, it's just a demonisation of something that by the church should have been feared, or to try and instill fear.
Yeah.
Something that would be usually a kindly old lady at the end of the road that would give out herbs and amulets and bits and bobs.
Exactly, yeah, the wise woman.
Exactly.
And that's, obviously that, as a witch, that's what I'm aiming for, is to be that wise woman in my older years. Hopefully I'll grow wiser at some point. But yeah, now a scary characterisation, and it's a bit of a shame. And then the flip side of that is the other extreme.
Oh yeah, it's over-sexualisation.
Yeah, and that's, again...
That's just sleaziness about Halloween. It's just an excuse for people to be promiscuous. You may have heard as well that this is supposedly the time when the veil between this world and the spirit world is at its thinnest. Now, do you think that's a fact, or are spirits and ghosts always there? I'm sure I've asked you this before on a video, but...
My opinion on this is it's a bit like one of those things that gets thrown around at this time of year. Oh, the veil is at its thinnest. For me, the spirits are still the same. They're the same energies, they're still there, they're still wanting to communicate for the most part, wanting to be there and be involved in whatever we're doing, whether it's a ritual or family members that have passed in day-to-day life, they're still there. To me, it makes no difference what time of year it is or what time of day or night it is, according to how many spirits are around.
Very true. It's more a case of that the collective subconscious turns towards the image of ghosts and spirits and anything that's spooky. You can use that energy when you're working in ritual with that exact purpose, which is why you might do a spell or a ritual or some sort of celebration based around dealing with ancestors or energies or something that's maybe a little bit more spooky around this time of year, because there's so much of it, it's saturated and
it becomes part of the subconscious.
Yeah, it does.
At this time.
It does. So on that note, in movies, the weather is traditionally autumn or cold. In horror stories and scenes, it was a dark and stormy night, and all that general nonsense.
You hear that, and you know, all the horror movies are based at Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, they're all you know, based around the idea of Halloween generally. All that, you know, it is cold, it's
that
windy, and
it's that discomfort.
Yeah.
It's like that sort of edge of discomfort, just setting it up.
Yeah.
So
and when you think about it as well, when it gets dark, you're losing your vision. And, you know, that makes you feel more vulnerable, that makes you feel, you know, less safe because you can't see as well. So sort of twilight hours, going into darkness. And, you know, this is the kind of twilight of the year, really. It's when the darkness starts to close in and it just becomes darker earlier. And it is all that sort of, you know, we're then looking for comfort, we're looking for light, we're looking for warmth, we're looking for heat.
Which is something that's certainly come in more so in recent years. There's cozy Halloween. It's gone from being, you know, something that's a bit spooky and scary. There's like elements of witchcraft, and now it's pumpkin lattes and cuddled up with like big jumpers and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people love about it as well. Is it's that coziness and that kind of snug feeling. When the weather changes, it feels more prominent.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of like, you know, you go to put your sandals on and it's chucking it down with rain, and you get it's sort of shock when it starts to get windy again, and you forget halfway through the winter it's just, oh, this is normal.
Yeah.
But it's that change, isn't it? So Samhain is the third harvest, and we connect to and talk about energies relating to the reaping of the harvest, such as the Grim Reaper, another figure that's, you know, really popular around this time. You see it in all the stores, the fancy dress and that sort of thing.
It's an easy outfit to do. I mean,
yeah,
I've almost got it at the moment, but yeah.
This time of year also a great time for honouring the dead, not just those that have passed in the last year, but also our ancestors.
Yes. Ancestor work is something that can be done all year round, and ways to honour your ancestors can be setting a place at the table, offerings of food. Seasonal food is a really great one to go with because you might bring in other energies as well. That's
really nice, and I think that's a really nice thing to do within ritual sometimes as well, as to leave a space or a chair, if you're using chairs, to represent the uninvited guest.
Yes.
And ancestors are a great addition to that this time of year as well.
Definitely.
You can ask for your ancestors for help to achieve your goals as well, and this is a nice little ritual that you can do in your own home. It's a really easy one to do because generally people have photographs of their ancestors. If you don't know who your ancestors are, and you don't know anything about your family history, you can still ask them to come forward and help you with your rituals. So if you don't have that photo to place on your altar, just write it down. Just say, I'd like you to come forward and help me, and they will be there.
Ancestors go back such a long way. I might call upon one by name if there's a specific thing I need to achieve that they might be able to help with. Otherwise, keep it as wide open as possible. You might have a great granny that you never knew about who was a high-grade witch.
You never know. Connections to spirits within rituals generally. Again, not just this time of year, but any time of year it can be done, but it does seem to be the focus around Samhain, around Halloween. And, you know, I think a lot of the rituals that we do involve things like scrying.
Yes.
Which is one of my favourite things to do, one of my favourite ways to contact those that have passed. And you can include this in your Samhain ritual. So scrying can be used for divination or for connecting with spirits. If you want to know more about scrying, I'll put a link to our scrying video at the top of the screen. I like to use a mirror or reflective surface like a bowl of water, something like that. If there's a particular spirit that you wish to contact, maybe try holding a family heirloom or using something reflective that's been in the family for a long time, such as a mirror, or the surface of an antique or a picture.
Divination, which is one of the forms or one of the uses of scrying, or seeing into the future, which is probably the easiest way to put it, is popular at this time of year, particularly as we're looking at the end of the old and the beginning of the new. Samhain traditions also include carving jack-o'-lanterns. These are almost the image of the antithesis of Halloween of itself, traditionally made out of turnips or other vegetables, and were used for protection for travel, sort of carrying them around, now more so put at the doorsteps of houses to work similar to like a gargoyle, scaring away the negative energies and lighting the way for those positive.
I really like that, and you see that as well. If you see a lot of pumpkins around a doorway, they might be people who are more open to trick-or-treaters, perhaps.
They've got sweets.
They've got sweets. The other thing that's really popular this time of year, is masks.
Definitely.
So masks used in ritual for a very long time. It's a traditional thing in many cultures is to use a mask to attract certain energies or frighten certain energies away. They've also become part of the Halloween celebrations. So dressing up in costume, disguising yourself, it's a different persona.
It is. It's channeling the energy, which is probably, of course, that's where the idea is, a mask in ritual is to channel the energy of what is being outwardly depicted. And when you're wearing a mask, and this is probably why people misbehave so much around Halloween after a few drinks, is that they've got that sort of barrier between themselves and that it's being disguised, it's trickery, it's those sorts of energies. But if you're looking to do it for magic, you might create a mask that has elements of the energies you might see around this time of year, so elements of the harvest, for possibly elements of death as well, as all of these sort of culminate together at this time of year.
That's really good. And also you notice a lot with the horror movies as well around, sort of Halloween-based horror movies, or very often the killer is wearing a mask or disguised in some way or wearing a costume.
Yes.
And you'll find that's, as you say, it's that kind of separation or taking on a different persona. And it is a lot like that. I know a lot of people that don't go out at Halloween, and they might be people who are very sociable, they go out a lot, but they avoid Halloween because people go to the extreme because they're wearing those disguises. As you said, they can get away with more.
Power tips. Yes, we're doing these again. These can be done on Halloween itself or any time leading up to it. It's time to lay to rest any negativity from the past year. Plant the seeds for the future. You can do this by coring an apple, keep the seeds aside, write whatever you want to get rid of or move on from on a piece of paper. Place this inside the apple, replacing the top and the bottom so it looks like a normal one. Use melted wax to seal it, and possibly black and maybe white together, and bury it somewhere where it won't be disturbed. If you can, plant the seeds and watch them grow as your plans become to fruition throughout the years ahead.
Another power tip is using candlelight, a simple candle or tea light for protection and connection to spirit. Just take a moment to relax, set your intention for connection to Samhain energies or ancestors, and spend some time staring into the flame. Note down any messages that you receive, images or phrases, and ask for protection as you move into the new phase of your life. Don't forget to check out our online store, ravenmysticshop.com, where you will find our handmade items, spell kits, candles, hand-blended incense, our herbal apothecary, and much more. The link is in the description below.
Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoy a happy and safe Samhain. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Basically, free reign.